Hi, and welcome to the Commissioner's Report. I'm your host, Jeff Foley, and I'm joined by District 5 Commissioner Neil Combee and Paul Womble, Director of Polk County's Emergency Management Division. Thank you for joining me today, gentlemen.
Happy to be here.
Thanks, Jeff.
Appreciate it. We're obviously at an interesting time of the year with regard to emergency management and hurricane season. I think, Paul, hurricane season is something people definitely think of with emergency management. What else do you guys do?
Yeah, so hurricane season 6 months out of our year, but we have other hazards, severe weather in the winter and wildfire season in the spring and early summer. So year round, we're making sure the county is prepared. That means that we do a lot of training, a lot of exercises. We depend on our partners, from the school board to the sheriff's office to hospitals to even private industry, non-government volunteer faith-based groups. So year round, we're working with those groups. Really specifically, there's two other programs within our division outside of what we call the traditional emergency management. The first is our 911 addressing and operations program. The county is responsible to maintain and operate the 911 system. We don't have the call takers or the dispatchers, but we maintain all of the telephone equipment, the databases, and ensure that when a citizen calls 911, that call gets to the right spot with technology like everything else. So that's a big part of that. The other part is our public safety radio communication system. That ensures, again, our responders 24/7, 365, they can respond to calls for service. Fire department, EMS, law enforcement. In Polk County, all of the response agencies except for the city of Lakeland are on the county system. So it's a big responsibility to make sure both of those systems are up and operating 24 hours a day to make sure our visitors and residents, when they need help, they get the help they need and as fast as possible.
So is it simplifying things too much to say that the 911 system and the first responders with the radios, that you're making sure that people can get the services they need when they need them?
That's 100% correct.
And Commissioner, what would you say are some of the most important services emergency management provides to Polk's residents?
Well, I think, in my opinion, the most important is hurricane response and relief from storms. I had the distinct honor and pleasure to be the chairman of the board in 2004. So I was here for Charlie, Francis, and Jean, and it was a great experience. Actually, we had trained, technical, professional folks on the spot working hard. I will tell you the county has advanced significantly since 2004. We've got emergency standby generators on lift stations all over the county, worked with the federal government to get those things purchased with grants and set up to try to make sure that if and when another storm hits here, and it's a matter of when less than it is if, we know it's going to happen eventually. How severe, would remain to be seen, but at least we'll have those generators to keep those lift stations going when we have a loss of power. But just knowing that a county of our size, 750,000 people, maybe plus at this point, we need to have trained professionals 24/7, and that's what Paul and his group are here for.
Paul, what is it like within the county for employees when a hurricane hits?
Well, every county employee has some role in a disaster response before, during, or after. So they have to make sure they have a plan at home, because a lot of us will be at work, certainly before, during, and after. We just have to make sure that we're ready. Again, part of that annual training that gets done. A lot of folks, we eat, breathe, and sleep emergency management all year long, and other folks have different jobs, so we have to work with them and understand that other work needs to be done, but we have to make time to make sure everybody's ready to go in case we do have a storm.
Yeah, I think that what emergency management does is coordinate with all the county departments in the event of a storm or in the event of an emergency of any type. But not only that, to work with the state officials and federal folks to know how to contact them, who to talk to, what can be done, what the protocols are to get services to people as quickly as possible. So to do that, it takes practice, and it's something you have to have full-time employees devoted to it. 12 months a year. It's not just the 6 months. But I was looking, the peak of hurricane season is the middle of September, so a month away from the peak of the season. But usually when the bigger storms hit, it appears that is like September, October is typically when the storms make landfall here, and they seem to be a little bit stronger. I actually read a little bit this morning before I came over here just to say, when is the peak? And so we still got the peak to come, and actually the couple of months that are still ahead of us is probably maybe the greater risk for landfall here and possibly, a bigger storm.
And Paul, so when a hurricane hits, I know your role changes a little bit and you've got a lot of weight on your shoulders. Can you talk a little bit about what you do personally when the hurricane hits?
Well, as Commissioner Combee mentioned, really our job at that point as emergency management is to coordinate the response, work with all those partners. So we'll activate our emergency operations center. That's 4 or 5 days before impacts. And as that storm gets closer and the forecast is locked in by the National Hurricane Center, and Polk County or even in the vicinities going to be impacted, our days get longer. At some point we go to 24/7 24-hour operations, and it's a lot of stress. I worry about my family, my people at home, but I'm going to be in the EOC, and all the other leadership will be in that emergency operations center. We leave our families to come to work to make sure that Polk County is taken care of. So personally, it's a lot of stress there, but we don't want to see our community be damaged or destroyed. And if that happens, then we want to make sure we get all the help we can from other government agencies, and that everybody's working together to take care of Polk County.
Yeah, I would say that it's probably pretty stressful for Paul and others that are watching storms and trying to figure out when you should call for evacuations and looking at tracks. And we've all looked at the 97 spaghetti models that go out there and trying to figure out where are we in this big picture. And so as that path gets more certain, I'm sure things begin to ramp up. And I'm speaking for Paul and those folks, but they've got to make a call. So I would think that would be somewhat stressful too. I know it is for them. Do you try to get people to evacuate now, or do we wait? Because if the turn comes, people have gone to a lot of trouble and expense to move out. So the good news is they're there, and it's something that concerns them. It's a job that they should and do take seriously, and I think we all benefit greatly by having a staff of trained professionals that are working on this, really every day for us and ready at a moment's notice to respond.
Does the fact that Polk County is inland present problems with people moving from different places and not understanding that the danger still exists?
Well, we don't have, as an inland county, we don't have hurricane evacuation zones like coastal counties do. But yeah, as much as Polk County has grown over the last few years, from all over, people from all over the country, they don't understand our hazards, our threats. That's the biggest thing folks at home should do, is understand what can happen to you here in Polk County. And I mentioned some of those, but hurricanes specifically, a lot of people say, oh, well, you're inland. Well, Polk County is the only county in the United States that had 3 eye walls of hurricanes come through in the same season, 2004, as Commissioner Combee mentioned. So rain, floods, tornadoes, all those things. We don't have to have storm surge for people to be injured or killed, unfortunately, or have property destroyed. And it didn't even have to be a hurricane. Significant rainfall from a tropical storm or even an unnamed storm can cause just as much impact as a major hurricane.
So what should people do to prepare?
Have a plan, understand those hazards we've talked about. Know what are you going to do with your family or your business, which it's all different for everybody. But if you need a safe place to go, understand that. Understand how to get information. On the county's website, it's got a whole host of our way to sign up for our Alert Polk system, our social media, all those things. So having information, and we've got other things on our social media. September is coming up as Disaster Preparedness Month, and we'll have a lot of video tips there as well.
Awesome. Anything that we're missing or that you'd like to add to the conversation?
Well, I don't know. We've not had a storm make landfall in Florida this season yet, have we?
Not yet.
Yeah, okay. So I know they were predicting maybe 12 to 18 a few days ago still to come. So it's something that you got to take seriously. I hope that they're wrong. I hope that we don't get any, but we still have to be prepared. And the county certainly is prepared. And as Paul said, people need to think about what they will do or need to do if we do have a storm make landfall and threaten Polk County.
I appreciate the time, gentlemen. I think it's helpful information. Thank you for being here again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. That's it for this episode of the Commissioner's Report. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you soon, Polk County. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe and like our social media.